Kanpai!
Kanpai! And now, via the magic of weird scarf powers, I shall talk while drinking. Welcome, weebs. Welcome, one and all, to episode 86 of Kanpai Cast, where we're going to be talking about anime and mythology, which is, I think, going to be an interesting topic. We've actually been using ChatGPT to help generate these topics. Surprisingly good at it.
Please don't add us.
I was shocked.
Please don't add us.
Look, it's just the idea. You know, it's not like we're asking it to write the whole episode for us. No,
it's all scripted. Also, we're not paying for it.
Yeah. So, have you liked any videos recently? 9 out of 10 YouTubers recommend liking every video you watch and enjoy. Not the ones you don't enjoy, though. The 10th one would, but he's a bit of a weirdo nonconformist, so yeah, we don't listen much to him. And the Kanpai Cast Discord, which you can find a link to in the description below, now has the same memes from Twitter automatically posted there as well. Even more reason to come hang out with us.
And tell us how much our taste in anime sucks.
Yeah. Tell us your anime recommendations for things that we should be watching, and just a lot of fun there. Anything else to add? I think that's it. Yeah, shall we move on over into our topic this week?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
We picked the topic.
A magic trip on our anime magic ship.
We picked the topic this week of anime and mythology. Representations of mythology in anime, the takes on it that they have, how much liberty they make with the mythos, how closely they stick to it, or whether it's just, the names. Is it a German tax haven movie, or is it a full-on first-generation Marvel Cinematic Universe take on it? So, we'll have to see.
Eerie silence.
Yes, because you've got your mouth full, unlike me for once.
Nasuth.
What? I didn't do that.
Nasuth.
What? That's okay.
I love how out of all the memes you have spoiled, right? You end up spoiling the one that is not safe for work. The only one.
Look, should we start again and just cut
that out? No. You just cut that out later. I've highlighted it. You fucking cut that out, boy. Cut out your bullshit, man.
That's weird.
Just watching you. Right. Okay. So moving on to the main topic itself. So here's I suppose a good question for you. How do you guys broadly feel about the way mythology is utilized in anime? I'm more than happy to go first because I'm the one driving it. In some instances, I feel that it's implemented well and very creatively. At no point in time do I ever think it's done accurately, with maybe the exception of Blood of Zeus, right? But
okay, are you talking about Western mythology or Eastern mythology? Because I agree with you on the Western mythology, but then we also screw up a lot of Eastern mythology. So.
No, I will certainly talk about in that regard. It's the Western mythology, right? Okay. The problem is I don't know so much about Eastern mythology. The big thing that I feel does it exceptionally well is the Fate franchise, right? But there is a small wrinkle in that claim to fame that with the Fate franchise, they don't really tell you what actually happened in that setting with those characters. Right? So, for example, I think, again, Fate, Grand Order, Absolute, Demonic Front, Babylonia. So, one of the most prominent characters in all of Arthurian legend is Merlin. But Merlin can never be summoned because Merlin is still... Stop it! Saw that, right?
Merlin is a wizard. He arrives exactly when he means to.
No. He's still alive. He lives.
Oh.
So he's supposed to be alive. So you can only summon servants that are dead, right? And the idea is that he's supposed to live throughout all of humanity at the top of is it the Tower of Avalon or something like that? And he is supposed to be, watching, the dreams of humanity. And but this is the thing; it doesn't really explain that at all, right? Like, I don't know this part of Arthurian legend at all in the slightest, and I kind of wish that it was kind of like at the end of episodes of Demon Slayer, where there's like they actually they do instead of a preview, they actually tell you about something relevant to the time period. It'd be nice if they had that for the Fate franchise. So who is Merlin? Give us a bit about Merlin and things, because you've also got adaptations across the gamut of this is Merlin. This is actually Merlin right now, but this is Merlin according to Disney, right? Apparently, according to this, Merlin is half incubus, right? And I'm more prepared to believe this than I am the Disney adaptation of he's just some grumpy old man with a blue robe and a blue hat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he supposed to age backwards as well?
I'm not entirely sure about that last bit. What was that thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh no! I just said never trust the Disney version of anything.
Yeah.
Considering how much they messed up.
Adaptation.
Considering how much they messed up Hercules of all things. Literally one of the most
iconic. Hercules?
Yeah, one of those iconic. Well, Hercules is what he was called as well. Thousands
in
of
Roman
years
mythology,
before Christianity. Yes, which existed thousands of years before Christianity existed. So come on.
Yes, but the Greek one is Heracles.
Yes.
So it's like you got Zeus, Hera, so on and so forth, and you got Heracles, not Hercules.
Yes, I know, but she wasn't called Hera in Greek in these Roman times.
Fine.
So, adaptations were made, but when the adaptation is 4,000 years old, I think there's a little room for thing, because many of the myths would have been added in the Roman times, not in the Greek times.
I suppose.
Still, when Disney messes up that badly, there's very little that anime could do that that can mess with it. Any worse. But you brought up the Fate series. That's where I'd like to make the comment. The Fate series uses mythology as just a primer. It uses the mythology as, this is this character, you should be able to look them up and know what they are. We are going to iterate on that character in our universe. So, in theory, if Merlin was a wizard, therefore he can use magic, that's fine. But the original Fate, which wasn't very good, we know this. Fate's Day Night was not the best show in the world, but they did do some fun things, like selecting Heracles, but summoning him in the berserker role so that he could be controlled. So he didn't have his overwhelming will that he would have had in any of the other roles.
Yeah.
Also, Merlin's level of magic is probably nothing like it is in the anime.
Yeah.
Like, they probably ratcheted that up to 11.
No, actually.
On the other side of things, though,
Really?
On the other side of things, though, they do have this real problem with just rewriting some of their lore to make it fit whatever new thing they want to do. The original one.
So they stick to the original mythology, but not their own mythology.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly.
And of course, we're not even going to start talking about Prisma Ilia.
Who?
Fate Collide Prisma Ilia. It's a magical girl spin-off.
Oh, yeah. But again, I like with a lot of the Fate franchise is just how much they sort of truly explore things. I mean, if you had to guess, Nasuth, I don't know if you've seen Grand Order Thaylien.
I haven't seen any of the Fates.
Right. Who do you think that is? If you know, don't say anything.
It's
If you know, don't say anything. But
it's some Italian. I can't. It's not Michelangelo. It's Leonardo.
Yes, Da Vinci.
Mm.
Yeah.
Da Vinci.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was it. It was
I do vaguely. I know that one from doing Notice Me Senpai, and I think I've cut her out before.
Right.
But that's the only reason I know.
Right.
Yeah, they do gender flip
But
many.
her clothes do look Italian, so it
they
works.
did that bit kind of fun, but they. Hold on, technical issues.
Oh dear.
I think his headset's turned off again.
I wish they wouldn't do that.
Can you just plug them in?
Anyway, no, because if you plug them in, they go into charge mode. It's a unique failing of these particular ones. So
I hate that. I specifically found headphones that do not do that.
Yeah. So it's because they have this thing of gender flipping the characters. This has all given rise to the popularity of one Astolfo.
They didn't gender flip Astolfo.
No, they didn't. But
Right.
they made it look like they did.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yes, it gave him the personality that made it look like they did.
Astolfo is a legend of the character.
Yes.
I think the big thing is, I really like, out of all the franchises that heavily rely on mythology, I feel that Fate is potentially the best, right? You have characters that... so one of the best things about these characters is they have a strength and a weakness, right? So Achilles is a perfect one. If you were to summon Achilles, his weakness is his ankle, right? So the idea is that you target his ankle, and as a result, he will like fall, right? So when you summon a servant, you keep their identity secret. I don't even know if Achilles does get summoned as a servant, but that's the point. Achilles' ankle is a huge, what's called known weakness, right? So everyone will understand and appreciate that. So every servant has a weakness. The question is, what is it, right? One of my favorite ones is the end boss of Fate Grand Order. I'm happy to go into spoilers, but I don't know if you guys want to watch it or not. Oh, Nasuth's hit the button.
I'm fine with hearing it. I don't know if Thaylien is.
Well, I mean, you've already hit the button, so anyway, so spoilers.
Too late. You can just cover his ears.
Right, spoilers. You cover his ears with the headphones underneath.
Turn off his headphones.
So the big bad in Fate Grand Order is the Babylonian or Mesopotamian goddess Tiamat, the goddess of creation. She creates everything, so on and so forth. But she is rewriting her creation.
Isn't she creation and destruction?
I think so, something like that. So she is going around, she's basically wiping out humanity because humanity doesn't love her, right? Humanity doesn't love the gods. It's the end of the era of gods, so she is coming to destroy everything. But Tiamat... Right, technical difficulties, we're back. So I was just saying... The fuck was I just saying? Oh yes, so basically
the underworld.
Tiamat, yeah.
So Tiamat cannot die. That is the legend of Tiamat. She is the goddess of all creation. So the way that they deal with her is to take her to a place where nothing can live, right? So where she is susceptible to dying, and that's how they deal with her. And it's really cleverly done. I think one problem I do have with the Fate franchise is like, so which rule trumps the other rule? Like, you know, so... You know, this is a realm that nothing can live, but this is a being that cannot die. So, like, which which one wins out here? I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, do you want to take the spoilers back off? Right. Do you guys have anything you want to segue or?
Well, with that, we got the other one that takes from multiple mythologies. which is one of Xeno's favorites. Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? That's the
Not
one
the
I'd
only
lean
one,
up
by the
into
way.
first. It's the specific other one that takes from
from
all of them.
Record of Ragnarok does it as well.
Well, Record of Ragnarok,
So does
but
Rage
I
of
never
Bahamut.
got past episode 3 of that.
Anyway.
Either way.
Yeah.
So, in that case, again, they're taking on and happily gender flipping some of the characters of popular myth, but that's Greek, Roman, the Norse, all of them. It'll take something from everything. And the fun is in this
also
one,
Indian.
they are,
or did you mention Indian?
yes,
You did, or Hindu?
yeah,
Hindu.
of course.
Yeah.
Well, I
Who
didn't
have they
mention it,
gender
but,
flipped?
Hephaestus for one.
That's true.
That's Hephaestus.
Yeah, Hephaestus. Yes, that's how they pronounce it, but that's because AE is pronounced a little bit differently across languages. But Hephaestus was the Roman god of Vulcan, and is in this one a redhead waifu. So,
don't they also do that with one of the Norse gods?
Loki was gender fluid anyway. Yeah, Loki was gender fluid anyway.
Loki can swap. He, she.
I meant one of the other ones, but I'm probably
he,
remembering
she,
wrong.
horse.
Yeah.
So Loki has given birth to his own children.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So
yes, and one of them being the horse that his dad rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Norse mythology is weird. All mythologies are weird. Really,
they're all weird.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The fun thing with this one is that they are still the gods.
Yes.
These are gods that have been in existence for a while, and they are taking an interest in coming down to Earth under strict rules. Well, not whatever world this parallel world is. They're under strict rules, which confines them as their powers. But they are definitely the gods, and they definitely have all the same agendas they always would have. Just shifted slightly to this new universe they're in. I mean, when it comes down to it, I think that the accuracy of some of these is even more on point than on the Fate universe.
Yes, but the Fate franchise focuses not just on, deities, but also mortal legends as well. So I get where you're coming from, but I feel that they're not. I feel that with the Fate franchise, they're trying to weave it in more closely, but it ties their hands a lot more. Whereas with Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, they
care about the general
weave it in,
theme.
but it's a lot looser, right?
Yeah,
you still have like
god
Ganesha,
of the hearth,
Apollo.
But that just means that they like hearth and home. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be exactly the same as the god depicted in mythology.
Exactly.
Yes,
so
as long as they
the
fit that
priority
theme.
is the same. Yes, the priority is the same, but the situation's different because they're limited. So the bit that's always getting harped on is that Hestia, the goddess of the hearthfire, the last Olympian, as she were, the last one that would ever stand and defend Olympus if the gods were defeated. She is actually made fun of in this because she's actually one of the maiden goddesses, one of the ones that swore never to take a lover. So,
and here she is.
The
with
whole
Belle.
series with her and with Belle is a little bit amusing to me.
One thing I will say though is with God, I keep comparing the two. With Fate, it feels like it is the fate of the entire world, right? Or it's the, it always feels more grandiose than just this one city. Now,
we really only see.
I love Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, right? One of my favorite shows. But to me, it really does feel that there is so much more outside of the walls of the city. There's even so much more in the city, and it's just like, wait a second, where's Ishtar's tower? I can't see Ishtar's tower in. It has to be directly beneath us because I can't see it in this picture, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much more. Like I love the 4th season so much because of what it explains about shit, what's her name? Iria? The elf girl. I can't remember her name to save my life. Yeah, like her experience and how her familiar. I love Soma's familiar. I love so many of them, and I do feel that this has more diversity than the Fate franchise because I feel Fate leans a hell of a lot more on Western side of things. Maybe because it feels more exotic and everything, but this, yeah, I'm actually going to partially take back what I said. It actually feels like it's spreading across the whole world in terms of where it's picking its source material. Yeah.
I also isn't it a case that the gods' power also comes from how many people they have in their familia, their worshippers, essentially?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how the gods in. Yes, when they're actually gods, that's how it works.
Yes.
Everyone that believes in them, everyone that pays tribute or worships them,
increases their power. Yeah.
But when they're down, down on the human realm, when they're down on Earth, they have other constrictions.
Yeah, they've locked away their powers. Yeah,
they don't actually use the powers that they have.
But that, as a concept, that's always something I've really enjoyed. Is that their power is linked to how many people actually give a shit. I don't know if it's like that in Fate at all. No.
As far as I can see with Fate is more about how strong the legend itself is.
Right.
Yes.
So
it's
all
similar.
about the mythos actually takes on...
Yeah.
So everybody's heard of King Arthur.
Yeah.
And as Zeno said, there's this thing about them considering who they are. So in the original one, Saber is Artorias, the actual mythological Arthur, and so she has to keep her sword concealed because every other hero would recognize Excalibur.
Artorias is Arthur?
Yes.
I never knew that. So now suddenly the character Artorias in Dark Souls makes a lot more sense.
Yes. So the fun bit behind that mythology is that Arthur could have been have come over from the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
because that was the time period. They always put somebody in charge of a country from another country, so there was no self-gain from governing that other country. It couldn't serve your own country's interests because you were in charge of another one.
Right.
I don't know if you ever watched the movie. I think it was called Arthur. I'm not entirely sure, but it's where I think it was 4 generals, one of which was Arthur, and they're all wearing Roman garb and everything. After basically the end of the Roman Empire, they get to go home and they see what disrepair, Britain is in, and they they sort of like bring Britain under their rule, and
for
there's a couple like that.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
There's a couple like that, and so the idea that they would have called him Artorias rather than Arthur comes from the idea that it would have been around the Roman era. So,
and of course, there's also the idea that the Holy Grail is actually the offspring further down, way far down the line of Jesus or something. Like it's the blood, it's the blood of Jesus is inside this container, and therefore they're calling it a Grail.
Things like that. The legends are
amazing.
It's just depending on, they are fun. That the amount of legends they do dig up for this with. Is it wrong to try and pick up the other dungeon? You have the thing of, if you know the mythology, you know what gods to expect from it. Okay, so the gods of that mythology are ones that are going to be there in some format, reference or characters, whatever, they're going to exist. In Fate, there is that thing of that surprise of what legend have they called on, what story are they telling. The big twist in the original one, which everybody, if you haven't seen, it's not even a spoiler, right, is that one of the heroes that's summoned is actually one of the characters of the series, just from a time when he became a legend, and his story is in the future, his legend is in the future. So it's still going to be built. And there doesn't seem to be any specific case of that series that the person summoning them has a direct influence on them in the present, and so can call upon their legend from the future.
Fate is the original Fate. Like, so Giguk did a brilliant video taking the piss out of the Fate franchise, and it's true. Like, it's really difficult to find a starting point. Fate Stay Night is the original series.
Production order. It's the first one.
Yeah.
So Fate Stay Night is like the first one that they produced, but technically Fate Zero, which is brilliant, right,
is a prequel to Fate Stay Night.
Yes, it actually sets up what happened and why Fate Stay Night's even happening and thing. Because every 75 years, there's supposed to be a Holy Grail War. However, after, I think it's like the 5th War or something like this, the
just look at
Anyway, so after the 5th War, the winner of the Holy Grail War basically wishes that the wars can happen more frequently, and so that's why the next war is in like 10 years later, sort of thing. So they happen a lot more frequently than this. Fate Stay Night, I struggled with it, right, massively so. There is a lot of mystery, there's a lot of what's going on, but in all honesty, the thing that I hate about it the most is the main character, right, Shiro. I just, like, oh my god, I just can't stand him. And he is very much I don't even realistically know how he became a master when he won't use his servant to fight his battles. He is the weakest master of all time.
But did you know? Did you know he is the bone of his sword?
What?
Did you not know that he is the bone of his sword?
I don't know what cryptic metaphor you're trying to say here. I have no idea.
No, it's literally the quote. It's like saying Melania is the blade of Mikola.
Right, okay. Regardless, yeah, so I can't stand the character. Fate Apocrypha, I was quite happy with. Fate, Grand Order, it took me a while to actually find. I found out there's loads more movies, and I was like, oh, okay. So I ended up watching those, and I really enjoyed them, along with rewatching the series. Yeah, so there's loads of Fate spin-offs and things from Fate Stay Night, but the actual main canonical plot, it has things like Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, Fate was it Fate Heaven's Field? There's like loads of movie spin-offs, and the whole idea is it's down to what path the visual novel takes and things like this. And yeah, it's apparently it's a giant mess. So I know that in Legend of Zelda, there's like the idea that the games branch off. I think, is it from Ocarina of Time?
Yes.
Yes. So there's in Ocarina of Time, there are 3 possible endings.
Yes.
And people have. Oh, this is conjecture. It's pure conjecture from the thing that because some games all have commonality in their bosses, the appearance of characters, the locations, and powers that are on display. They come from a certain timeline, and so on with the other 2. But the weird thing, of course, is that the latest 2, Breath of the Wild, for example, contains aspects from what would all 3 timelines. Things that would not exist if the timeline theory was correct, these disparate things wouldn't all be in the same place in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I want to say there's no official word on if there's an actual timeline or not.
There's no official word. It's pure fan theory and conjecture.
Yeah.
I mean, it is supported by a lot of what they've gone through.
But I mean, that's just because game designers enjoy designing. You know, if I had a character, I'd probably use it several times in if it was, you know, similarly linked franchises. You know.
Yeah. But it's.
I really like the Dark Knight. I'm going to use the Dark Knight several times. I'm just going to redesign him sometimes, and sometimes he's going to look this way, and sometimes he's going to look this way. You know?
My understanding was that with Breath of the Wild and things, I'd gone slightly off topic. I thought Breath of the Wild was supposed to be like the new first game in the timeline.
No, it's supposed to be the end.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Before
it's supposed to be right at the end of the timeline.
But now.
Yeah. So, and then they've got Tears of the Kingdom, which is a sequel to the end of the thing.
The end of the
which basically tells us that no, actually, it's not. Basically, there's more.
Let's go back to the anime itself.
Absolutely.
I feel that one show, I can't really give it justice, but I really want. Maybe I'll actually go ahead and read the manhwa of it. Is Record of Ragnarok, right? So it's a very interesting series where basically humanity has come to the brink of extinction and destruction so many times.
Can we just briefly pause on this screenshot?
Shut up. Stop degenerating. I know what you're going to say.
He's looking at this guy. He's looking at the four-armed guy.
Guys,
yes,
terrible.
Because look, does this not remind you of the setup we're having for a future episode of Kanpai Cast?
I got a new button. I got this button.
What is this button?
And it does nothing. There you go.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway.
Yeah, he wants to. He won't get to speak.
Right. Anyway. So, the whole point is... so, humanity is coming to, again, another end of the world, and the gods have basically thrown in the towel and said, nah, fuck it. Let just destroy it. Destroy the earth, the creation. It's a mess. It's... You know, they've squandered it, they've ruined it. How many world wars have they had? So on and so forth. So all the gods, you know, all pantheons of gods have basically turned around, and they've decided that Earth should be destroyed and humanity wiped out. However, Brunhilde, is it the lead Valkyrie of Norse mythology? Her. Yeah. She's fed up with the gods, right? So she's had to put up with their shit for God knows how long. She's had to deal with the grunt work of these, you know, and she throws down she proposes a gauntlet to be thrown, and Zeus likes the idea, and the idea is that the mightiest of the gods fights the mightiest of humanity, right, across all time, right? And it's very interesting because the first fight you have is Thor versus I think it's Lubu or Lobo. I don't know how you pronounce the name, and it's really interesting how they pit these characters. You also have at one point in time like Jack the Ripper, you have Adam, you have like loads of sort of like iconic characters fighting these deities, and it's very interesting. Unfortunately, the production of the anime sucked. Right? Yes. And they do actually go into depth about the origins of these characters. So you do learn about who is Lubu. I'm going to say Lubu, I could be wrong. They also...
I like Lobo just because it reminds me of the Superman character.
I know who you're talking about, yeah. But they also have, you know, the history of Zeus, right? So not Zeus, Thor. You know, how Thor single-handedly killed. I don't know who. They're like these Titan-esque creatures.
It's the dwarves, isn't it?
Yes, it was the Frost Giants. The Frost Giants had basically invaded. They were invading Asgard, trying to destroy Yggdrasil, but Thor single-handedly killed them all, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a really, really interesting series, and I would have kept going had the production been worth it. You know, it felt very true to the origin, but you know, this is Lubu as a kid after completely and utterly murdering like a direwolf. It's barehanded. So, you know, he was a born warrior, but you get the idea. So yeah, it's a very interesting
Davy
series,
Crockett killed a bear when he was only 3, so there. Sorry.
You okay there?
Nobody does Davy
Are you
Crockett.
having
Does
a
Davy
moment?
Crockett ever show up in any of these animes? Probably not.
Probably not.
Oh, actually, didn't. I'm fairly sure David Crockett did show up on something that was completely unexpected. I'll need to look that up because I'm sure one of these ideas of like bringing legends back. Somebody mentioned Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett.
I'm
FYI,
sure of it.
That's Thor with Mjolnir on the left.
Oh my god!
Yep.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a
that's a
shame.
hammer.
It's a shame that the production turned out so bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I don't know what they were thinking, but the budget I don't know if the budget just got slashed or whatever, but it turned into stills. It was just like, you know, just dialogue over stills, and it was just like, you know how you get those fan dubs of manga and things like on YouTube and stuff? That's effectively what it became. There was no animation to it whatsoever. It was just stills. I don't know what happened to the production, but it was just awful. And the idea was...
Was it during the COVID era?
This came out in 21. No, I think this was like in the era where Netflix were just slashing budgets everywhere.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's Record of Ragnarok. I would have loved to have, you know, maybe I will go ahead and read it and things. But I kind of want to segue and put Thaylien in the crossfires and ask him why have we put Evangelion?
Oh, see, I was going to talk about Blood of Zeus because it's a faithful adaptation.
We'll get there. Yeah. So the reason I put Evangelion in this list is because, well, there is the joke, the obvious joke that all religion is a myth, but that's not really why I wanted to do this. This is an anime that the production staff told us outright that they don't actually care for the mythos.
That holds true even in the in the new movies, because they have they go to the gates of Golgotha or something, and it's like, what? This has nothing to do with Golgotha. What are you doing? It looks cool.
Golgotha.
It sounds cool. You know, it looks cool.
Yeah. So this is the thing. They have taken the iconography specifically because it looks good. There's no other reason there. Okay, they wanted to have these things that they could just show on screen, and it's just the most ridiculous of misuse. Well, not misuse. Of a ridiculous case of rule of cooling a mythology. I'm not, going to completely come out and say on YouTube that Christianity is a myth, but at the same time, whatever they're doing here, it makes it look like one. Whatever they've done with Evangelion, it's the same way that movies around the world and TV series have adapted Greek, Norse, Egyptian myth over and over again. It's no different than the good old, was it Brendan Fraser movie, The Mummy?
Mm-hmm.
It took elements, it took the iconography out of Egyptian ritualism around their burial rites, around the mummy horror B-movie genre, plugged it all together and made a typical, action movie out of it. It could have been any other myth. It could have been a vampire. It could have been a werewolf. It didn't have to be a mummy. But it was just so they put in all the iconography they could think of, and at least in that one there was some effort to make it actually in some way historically accurate with like the actual Egyptian hieroglyphs and everything, actual things that would happen in a cursed Egyptian burial. But Evangelion takes none of that care. This is one that's done.
Here's the Jewish Kabbalah. What does it mean? Nothing. Not really. Here's a bunch of crosses. What does it mean? Nothing. Not really.
Here's
Here are
a
a bunch of
giant
big creatures
face.
called angels that are part of the Adam, and we are part of the Lilith. What does that mean?
Oh yes, Lilith, the Lilith.
Yep,
now I
you're the
understand it all.
Yeah. No, not really.
It is, as I say, it is purely taking something that is a well-known
phrase
belief.
or term, or
Yes, and just, as I say, rule of cool. In this case, they just did whatever looked good to them. And that is an incredible way to approach something. And I kind of respect it in a way, because it's taking it to that level of, we're going to be so blasé about it and tell the world that that's what they're being, just being blasé about it. So you can't really get mad at them.
I have a question for you. All right.
Yes.
I'm not trying to stir shit here. Is this cultural appropriation?
No.
No.
I'm going to say no, because it's part of Japanese culture as well.
What? Evangelion is part of Japanese culture?
No,
Christianity.
the misunderstanding of Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah. So Christianity was brought to
not
Japan,
misunderstanding,
and there are plenty of Christians,
different interpretations.
plenty of Christians over there that actually believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. There's a different interpretation of Christianity over there in the first place.
It always gets sort of
the fact that-
localized. I mean, American Christianity
Nasuth.
is way different
Nasuth,
than Church of England.
Nasuth. I know you're super excited. I have no idea what any of Thaylien is saying. Can you please tone it down a little, Nasuth?
No,
I love you.
We're just shooting shit.
What were you saying, Thaylien? Because I've missed it all.
Okay. The contact with the West brought over Christianity.
Right.
That's what it did. So Christianity has existed in Japan as long as any other aspect of Western culture. And it's been adopted quite fully in some places.
Right.
There are plenty of Christian Japanese people. And so they have as much right to misinterpret the religion as any Christian does over in any other country.
Okay, that's certainly interesting, because I was going to say, how do you think people would react to, like my grandmother was like super Catholic and everything. Like, how do you think that this heavy freedom of adaptation would be frowned upon terribly so, or do you think that for a lot of this stuff people wouldn't care?
In a animation genre that contains glorification of vampires, of demons, of everything else, this is the least of their worries. At least this one goes into the idea that that Christianity is in some way real. You know, it tries to put home that these icons that it's using have more meaning than the animators gave them. That's what the implication is in the fact they're using them. So for somebody that doesn't believe, like myself, it implies that I'm taking this as it's implying that the Christianity in this world setting, the religion itself is misinterpreted, and the actual things that the religion is based off are real. That's how I would take it.
It's like in his Dark Materials, where it turns out that God isn't actually like some omni-powerful being. He's just the first being to have existed, and he ages and dies like anyone else over time.
Yes, and he told everyone that came after that he created them.
Yes, yeah. He lied. He lied.
Yes.
So that it's essentially that level of reinterpreting Christianity, but it's based on saying that it's real. It's just not what you think it is.
Yes. So that's the thing. If you're going to be, the thing is, when you get right down to it, Christianity has split and segmented dozens of times over simple things like condoms. So, it just the idea that Protestantism came about because people wanted to be able to have sex without having kids. Church of England existed because the King of England decided that he wanted to marry multiple women sequentially, not be able to get divorced. To be able to get divorce one of his wives or behead one of the other wives, so he adjusted Christianity to make a new complete religion. So adaptation of Christianity exists as long as Christianity has.
So this is a really interesting point, because like my I suppose question to both of you is like, do you think that there is something out there that is so sacred that you shouldn't make?
Nothing is sacred to me, ever.
Not even your I want to say big titty anime waifus.
Okay, you got the one thing.
I'll return this with one thing. I am staunchly agnostic, because I know that if I was given enough evidence to support a god, I would believe it.
It's just that evidence is lacking.
I'm also agnostic to the point where I can freely say, right, that I know from science that the Big Bang exists or existed. But we don't know that some omnipotent being didn't cause it by just saying be, and then the Big Bang happened and everything came into being. There is nothing to set us to confirm or deny that.
Sure.
So there is nothing too sacred to make an adaptation out of until we find proof that there is.
The moment you start having sacred cows, you start having problems, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That's how you get Apollo, and that's how you get plagues. Do you want plagues? Then don't have Apollo.
So it's really interesting, because like I'm of a like mind of both of you, because I know that when it comes to a lot of Greek mythology, a lot of it is extremely inconsistent. I learned this actually from a historian that participated on a gaming YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is Playframe, and there was a collab between Playframe and a historian YouTuber, and they were playing the game Immortal Phoenix Rising, right? And tell you what, we'll make sure there's a link in the description below. But the historian was telling about how many of the legends of Zeus actually contradict each other, right?
Absolutely.
I think that at one point in time, Hercules, or Heracles rather, was born of Zeus and a mortal, which is why he's a demigod. Another one was the whole Zeus and Hera, but he had to jump through some flame that made him basically lose his immortality. And there's like loads of interpretations of how these myths
because
and
they were probably
legends and things
told differently in different towns every time, and it all just sort of grew up out of that.
Even down to little things. Down to little things. So, for example, it's become known over time that culturally, back then, if somebody got stabbed in the genitals, they would specifically tell people that it was a thigh wound. Right? So, that changes one of the legends about Zeus and how one of his sons was born
from his thigh or something. Yeah.
Yes, that Zeus sewed him into his thigh to help him gestate and become a real person.
Yeah.
And be born normally. So no, he actually sewed him into his nuts. In the story, that's what they were saying, is children are stalled in the balls, okay?
Well, there's a story. There's a story in the Bible where God comes down to fight with a guy, to just wrestle with him, and the guy like grabs God by the balls in order to win. It works.
Is that Old Testament?
Old Testament, really early Old Testament.
Yes.
Before Moses, pre-Moses.
Right. Yeah, this is
it does actually play into a lot of that thing of the way the gods are flawed and in some cases very human, but also that the only way a human can win against a god is by playing against, going against the rules.
Fair. So next I kind of want to spear it on more towards the Japanese side of things.
Yes, let's.
Unless any of you two want to touch upon it.
We'll be going to go, just while we're on the subject of Greek myths, onto Blood of Zeus.
You want to do that?
Yeah, and then we'll go on to the eastern side of things.
Go on then.
So Nasuth had a bit to say about Blood of Zeus in the first place. What was it going to be?
It's a case. We were talking about how Record of Ragnarok had a decent idea, but really, really terrible animation. I think this is a case where you have a decent idea and actually good animation as well. And it's a shame that it kind of ended after just the one. Was it the one season?
Well, as far as we know,
it was the one done that we know of. Yes.
This is done by the same studio that did Castlevania, and maybe they'll branch out and do another season.
Yeah, but it's like it gets the idea of Zeus very accurately. The other gods all really good. Is it? It's not Hercules in this one. I can't remember which one it is. Is it?
No,
Perseus?
It is a child of Zeus.
It's Perseus.
Yeah, I think it's Perseus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which literally means like of Zeus. But yeah. It's
Zeus.
Yeah. It's just I love the story. I love the idea that the gods can be killed, because that was actually an idea that the Greeks held. They're really, really powerful. It's really hard to do it, but you can. Just like they killed some of the Colossuses and
and the Titans and the Giants as well. They were called Titans and Giants, but they were exactly the same thing as the gods. The gods just were like one children. Particular generation of them.
Yeah.
Yes. So they were the children of the Titans and a ward against the Giants, who were their half siblings.
No, there's two. Yeah, this is where the whole myths kind of contradict each other, because it's like, so basically it's the pantheon are the children of the Titans, but Kronos ate all of the children, and Zeus, who was the only survivor, basically freed them after killing Kronos. But then there's another one which is like, no, Zeus is the father of God knows how many of the gods, and it's just like, oh my god, pick a lane.
Oh yes, the most common version is that the 3 elder gods were his children, were Kronos' children.
Yeah,
they killed
Hades,
and
Poseidon,
Zeus.
Zeus.
Zeus, being the youngest, was hidden from him, and when he was old enough, he was able to take on his father, sliced him open with his own scythe, and saved his brothers.
Yeah,
which is why those 3 got the heavens, the sea, and the underworld as their divided up worlds, because they are the 3 most powerful. They're the 3 descendants of the actual Titans. There are others. For all the terrible movies that it created, the actual books of Percy Jackson did kind of a good job of explaining some of the myths. Like, for example, the reason why Aphrodite is so powerful as a character and as a force of love in the world is because she was actually born from the bits of Kronos that fell into the sea.
Oh.
Now, if you play Phoenix Rising, you will actually know that it wasn't just... Well, bits is actually far too accurate. Because the story is that a pearl fell into the sea. No,
more of an oyster, I think.
Yes, it was that. It was that well-known Greek hero Testicles.
But yeah, just look at these images in the background. Look at like the detail and they're willing to go to like really harsh places in some of the fights, and the fact that it's all about teaching this character to believe in himself and awaken his inner like power is it's just so well done.
Oh, best version of Hermes ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, where he had to send a message, so he ran, and they showed him like doing a Flash style run.
Right.
But he ran up a mountain and leapt from the top of that mountain to the next one.
Right.
And this going supersonic kind of thing with the sonic booms. So yeah, it was a really well done version of Hermes.
I've got to say, one character in Greek mythology that I really would love to just know more, and I was really shown like, wow, I don't know shit about this character due to the Fate franchise. Can you guess? Medusa.
Oh, well, she's got a really complicated past depending on which mythology you listen to. That's
the point. It's dependent on which one, right? Because there's one where she's cursed by Aphrodite. There's one where she's already the most beautiful, and I think it's like is consumed by lust and greed and things like this. Like, there's just so many variations.
And not to mention the other Gorgons that they never talk about.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In some of them, there are no other Gorgons. In others, there are other Gorgons that were all killed and she's seeking revenge. In others, she ate them.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I want to know, like, she is the one character that, to me, there's so much diversity in all her origins that
there's even the thing of like when she dies, her children spring from her neck when her head's cut off. Right. One of them being Pegasus.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
As in the original Pegasus.
Yeah.
There is another one. Oh yeah, there was another one that was born at the same time, and no, he was something. It was something like he was a prophet. A person was born, and the flying horse was born. So they were relatives. They were related.
Yeah.
But completely different things.
I also feel like there's also, I'm pretty sure, like in terms of mythology, Medusa's been killed off by both Theseus and Heracles, right? But it's like it's.
Wasn't it also Odysseus?
No, not Odysseus.
Not Odysseus.
I don't think
Odysseus had other things like the.
He had the sirens, didn't he?
Yes, he had the sirens,
Yeah.
and he had the whole.
Oh, I'm
thing
thinking of
with
the
Scylla
Argonauts.
And
I'm thinking of the Argonauts.
yes, because that's Jason and the Argonauts. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Anywho,
Hey,
like
hey,
she's the
Odysseus,
one character.
what are you gonna call this journey? Oh, I'm thinking of naming this journey after the sole survivor. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Anywho, right? Should we scootle over to?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Which one do you want?
I feel I want to give an honorable mention to one
Was it
because
Good
when
Luck
I
Girl?
did a search, no,
Oh,
damn it, that should be in here.
that should be.
So I did searches on the internet for a bunch of series that like had strong mythological connections, and Noragami is one that actually came up in multiple lists. This is actually a very good series. I watched it back in 2014 when it first came out. I can't remember it, but I remember falling in love with it. This is one I'm going to be rewatching in the future. It has very, very strong ties to I want to say it's the Shinto way of looking at the afterlife and deities and things like this. So like where everything has a a god or a spirit or thing. So this is the god of VCRs, this is the god of the road, so on and so forth, and depending on how engaged people were with that thing determined how powerful that thing was.
Exactly.
But Noragami is a very good series. I need to rewatch it. Yeah, but this is just one thing I wanted to touch upon briefly, and I would recommend people go check it out, even though I can't remember it myself. But actually, the two that I really wanted to touch upon, one was Spirited Away.
As much as you dislike
You actually
it,
wanted,
but
yeah,
it does the mythology well.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the whole spirits, the whole oh god, how do I
World.
Yeah,
the fairy tale.
'Cause there's
aspect
even
of it is
the-
fantastic.
Doesn't the train go over? Yeah, it goes over like the ocean, right? Or at least
I
just a
believe
body
so.
of water. That's very similar to the first isekai that we've talked about before in, I think it was the isekai episode, where like the guy goes underwater to a different world where the gods rule, or a particular god rules there. It's very similar to that idea.
Yeah. The imagery in it is all drawn from their myths. Everything it's bunched together. There's even elements. I recently learned the name of it, which is the Parade of Spirits, the Hyakiyako, where all the spirits gather and march through as a parade, and it's a very chaotic thing, and human spirits can get pulled into that. The aspect of that where all of the spirits gather in one place makes for a really chaotic blend where every time you blink it's changed over and you see a new aspect of their fairy tales, basically their oni, their what's
Their
the other
sun
word
sprites.
for their spirits? Well, no, there's the spirits.
Oh yeah, okay.
The one that's not, demons. The one that's actually for spirits.
Yeah.
Yokai. Yokai.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kept on thinking Yomi, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking
So
too.
it's the entire walkthrough of yokai. It's like a who's who. There's a representation of everything there, from the soot sprites here to the hungry ghosts to the kappa and daikon spirits. It's just
The dragon.
everything has, yes, the dragon being a river dragon and not,
Mhm.
yes, and even all like the old witch thing, with a proper Baba Yaga kind of going on.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Baba Yaga's from a different
but it's a similar concept.
myth. But yes, the Japanese have that as a concept. And they even... I loved with that one the absolute similarity between this mythology and some of the Western ones, such as the Fae, because we have the same fears from them. So if an elf, in old stories, if a Fae asks your name, you have to phrase that very carefully. You say, you can call me so-and-so. Maybe not even give you your real name.
And you never eat food in the Fae world.
Because if a Fae asks you, can I have your name?
They take your name.
You say yes. You know they've taken your name, and you now don't have a name. You are a nameless being, and which greatly weakens you as a person and makes you more susceptible for staying stuck in the Fae realms. So in this one, they do the same thing. The witch writes down her name on her hand and says, I am taking part of it, and your name is now Sen. That's how everyone will know you, because I have the rest of your name. And literally peels the words off of the girl's off the name. So that great. There's a huge amount of similarities. Sorry.
I feel that one of the big things with depiction of deities and spiritual beings and things in at least Japanese storytelling is that I feel this is very different compared to Western style, whereas in Japan, those beings are so ingrained in the real world, right? So it's very much a case of like, you know, the deities could be walking the streets among you and you just wouldn't know. Like, again, the whole kitsune, the whole oh god,
I can't remember what they're called in Monono. I can't remember what they're called in Mononogatari, but those two, so, they become like, they just wander the world and become part of everyday objects.
Yeah, exactly. So it's absolutely hit the nail on the head here. In the Eastern mythology, yokai, spirits, gods, they are part of the landscape. They're part of your everyday life. You just can't see them.
Yeah.
Whereas Western myths, the spirits, the fae, the gods inhabit somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's when they come to you that bad things happen.
Yeah.
But with the Eastern one, because they're all around you, your everyday actions have to appease them. Your everyday rituals and ceremonies are more important because they're right there. They are just behind a little veil of illusion or whatever that hides them from you.
Again, I feel that part of every depiction of these like super powerful beings, they are very rarely tied to modern day. Like again, I think one of the better depictions is in Western culture is the TV series Lucifer, where Lucifer is embracing.
Yeah, sorry.
What?
I'm just excited. I was saying, oh yes.
Okay, right. So where Lucifer embraces like everything about humanity and things, you know, fast cars, you know, nice suits, drinking, alcohol, you know, all this sort of stuff. I remember seeing a Menadiel for the first time, and he was wearing a tunic. Right, it was just like really out of place. You could spot him from a mile away, sort of thing. And then later on, when they introduce other angels like Michael and things like that, again, you know, they were really just like, you know, we can spot you from a mile away. Why are you still wearing, you know, this garb of,
because that's what they've always worn.
Exactly, that's the big thing. It's what they've always worn, right? Their depictions are never changed. The depictions of angels in stained glass windows, whether they were made several hundred years ago or they're made today, angels are still depicted the same way. And you don't see that with the way Japanese depict their...
Yeah.
You say that, but what about
a change?
Shaman King, where the main character has that ancient samurai spirit that works with him, who looks like an ancient samurai.
But that's because he died as an ancient samurai.
That's because he's a person.
That's a ghost. Yeah. That is actually genuinely a ghost of a dead guy.
It's just a ghost.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So are most of the rest of them, as well. There's there's a few others that are mythology where one of them has an actual fairy, another one has a spirit that lives, the spirit under the lily pads, whatever they are, and yeah.
Oh crap! I want to say the Kappa.
No. So these are the Kappa have a thing in there. The head looks like it's a floating river thing. No, these are actual small people kind of things, like the creatures in Princess Mononoke.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So they live in the lily pad fields, and the character was the character that used that spirit was obsessed with making the fields of that grow wherever he could, so that they would have space to live again. Yeah. So, but where it's actually, both the main character and his, first season antagonist both use actual warriors from the past who died and have left their spirits over.
Okay, I got it. But you're saying, like, in general, the spirit, the natural spirits and gods and whatnot tend to blend in, try to blend into normal society. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
You even see that in Mononogatari, again, to bring that up.
Going into other media, though, I recently played a game that didn't get all that much critical review, but it did the mythos quite well, which was Ghostwire Tokyo. And that had a specific thing where it showed how the spirits that they talk about are just inhabiting the places that we live in now. Yeah. So you're walking around Tokyo and you find in one of the shopping centers there's a rooftop area, a covered rooftop area that has artificial rivers that you cross over between the shops. And of course in that area a Kappa lives there. Because of course he does. He lives under the bridges in this slow flowing water that has greenery and fountains. There's another point where, thinking of the Kappas, where you literally go down a manhole down into the sewers, but as you walk through the sewers blend into an actual Kappa nest, which is literally just an area of the world that looks like a sunny day in a small woodland wetland, where there's a pond that the Kappa can be in quite happily, an old rundown hut for bits of wood and things, and somehow you just walked from the sewers out into this beautiful sunny day where it's perfect for a Kappa. And so again, it's this thing of just, they're in the modern day, they're everywhere we are, and you have to be mindful of yourself and do the things that you would do carefully, knowing that these things are actually out there, in theory.
But I assumed you were trying to segue into Inspector.
I was, but unfortunately, as I tried to do that, that's why that's happening. Hold on. If I do. So as I was trying to do Inspector, and it was just constantly bringing up different things.
The mythology of Crayon Shin-chan. Yes, very, very important.
Are we just not gonna?
the mythology of fantastic anime titties.
Am I gonna get like? There we go. Finally getting a Spectre. Right. Finally. Right. Okay. And this is where it instantly changes to something else because like that was just a fluke. Yeah. Right. So one of the things that I really like about Inspector is, regardless of the whole like murder mystery, whodunit sort of thing, I really like how anything that is potentially big and nasty and dangerous, like in the first season we saw this giant snake spirit, right? You think about the giant snake from Sekiro, that's basically what we're talking about. It's giant snake. And just having a polite conversation, because this lake is the snake's home. It is the spirit of the lake.
Yes. Okay.
But it wasn't trying to be threatening and menacing and things.
It was huge.
It was just huge. That's just what it was. Again, we see these, our... Is it Tokugawa? I can't remember what her name is. But, our main character, she is floating around the sky because there's a giant skeleton that is walking around the city, right? Many, floors high, just walking around, carrying her, taking her to a different destination, right? It's incredible how something that, in the West we are taught, like, this is bad, it's a giant skeleton, run away!
And he's just chilling out, happy to have somebody talk to you for a minute,
Yeah. What was the other thing he ate? Because I know the one thing was the flesh of a mermaid.
Yeah, the other one is a creature that makes him immortal. So the mermaid allows him to see the future. Yes. The other thing allows him to be immortal.
And cancels out the curse of the seeing the future bit.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It means he doesn't die from it.
Well, technically he still dies, he just gets better.
He's very dead. I'm not dead.
He just respawns in the bonfire.
I got better.
Yeah, so and again, like the whole...
Well, wasn't the snake doing something... Like, it was making it rain. And that was a bad thing. But it was only doing that because of a misunderstanding?
They said... No, they misunderstood that that's what the snake did, right? When the snake's like, I don't have that ability, right?
Right.
I'm just the spirit of the lake. They would pray to the snake to make it rain, but the snake couldn't make it rain, right? Or the lake spirit.
I remember he was angry about I don't want to give away what he was angry about, but he was angry about something, and it was kind of a misunderstanding. And that they and he was willing to just chill and talk with them to work it out.
Yeah.
Which was the great thing.
They did have to be careful.
Yeah.
They did have to be careful because he was a snake. And snakes are going to snake unless you bother them or if they're hungry.
Yeah.
If they're not hungry and you're not bothering them, a snake is as chill as anything, and that's great interpretation of that.
Yeah.
Realistically, the only snakes you have to look out for are liquid snakes. Solid snakes are perfectly fine. Same with naked snakes, venomous snakes.
Mm-hmm.
What about solid snakes?
No, they're nasty as well. Got to keep it.
Anyone with the name Solid is just like not. Yeah, that's not even a real name.
Yep.
Nah.
Anyway.
As long as they're not trying to get their revengeance.
Oh my god. I think we're kind of done, unless you guys had anything else that you wanted to potentially touch upon.
I mean, the only other thing is in two other mediums. We had the whole thing of when you brought up Lucifer. I really wanted to dip briefly into Dogma.
Oh yeah. God.
Yes, because something about that, it was irreverent, it was crazy, it was bloody, it was Jay and Silent Bob again, which everybody knows when putting them in a movie is
And you also had a mix of angels trying to blend in, but also just eventually going fuck it and putting on their traditional armor.
Yep. They're trying to blend in, but then they did that specifically for a reason. You know, you had everything from gang members getting torn apart by a poo monster.
Poo demon.
That is actually poo demon. Yes. At least it's not a Houdini, because then it could escape from you as well.
Anyway.
But that's, again, it's amazing how the differences in interpretation can yet lean on facts so very, very hard. Or, well, facts, but
predictions.
In the case of the movie Dogma, on dogma.
Yeah.
Literal dogma from the meaning of that word coming through. And, you know, other movies do the same thing, where they take what's actually written down and use that specifically for plot points. As bad as it was, the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves did Old Testament noble.
The TV show was better.
Self-sacrifice gets you into. I love the DC animated movies versions.
Oh yeah, those are good too. Yeah,
but that one, the noble, the selfless sacrifice, knowing you die, knowing you get nothing from it, that will get you into heaven. That's an Old Testament thing.
Yeah,
and it is in the Bible, and it's used as a plot point, and that is great when they take those. It's the same with all of these series have something like that, when they take something that's literally written into the myths, and they use it for an actual plot point. You know, so Fate, Ragnarok, Rachel Bahamut, Noragami, all of them, you find something that's literally in the books that were written hundreds of years ago, and they use that. Well, it's why
it's a case of caring for the source material.
Yes, it's why I wanted to make sure Evangelion was in here, because Evangelion is not like that. It's specifically the contrast to all of these, where it doesn't care for the source material. I mean, it allowed not to care for the source material, and it just went ham with putting things in there because they looked good. And because the average person watching Evangelion for the first time probably wouldn't know most of what the symbols mean anyway.
And of course, there are tons of examples of that in Western media too, where we just take something and are like, "Oh, that looks cool. Let's write something using that," and they do. And sometimes it turns out great. Sometimes it just turns out awful.
It does. Yeah. So, but I think it's right. We've exhausted this for now.
Yep.
Maybe come back to it sometime if there's a new series that does something really well.
Well, again, Mononogatari just last season, I think, did a really good job of explaining the whole, or adapting the idea of these spirits that inhabit objects, and just putting a nice little twist on it. But yeah, you're right. Let's shall we? Cool.
Right. So moving on to the supporter questions. Right. Okay. Let's bring this up. Right. Enhance. Okay. Scroll down. Drool asks, before we start the supporter questions, I just want to say thank you everyone for listening to our podcast so far. We really appreciate all the likes and comments everyone leaves on these episodes. So, Drool asks, can you think of an anime that turned out to be really good, but only after you gave it a second chance?
I do actually have an answer for this, and it's Vivi. Because I tried watching that, and I got really bored after the first few episodes. I don't know why, but then Xeno helped me power through it, and it gets really good.
That's a good one. For me, it was actually Bleach.
Yeah.
I watched the first season of Bleach, or I started watching the first season of Bleach, and I did not get on with it very well. It's only after I went back to it that I became a big fan.
I mean, you look like a person to me, but I'll take your word that you're a big fan.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
You know, I'm going to say Spectre, and it's more because of the second season than a second watch. Because one of the biggest problems with most anime is that the first season is... What the fuck are you doing?
He's being a big fan. He's fanning you.
Oh, big fan, yeah.
No, you have to spin around. Anyway, but the biggest problem with a lot of the shows that come out is that the first season's not enough, and the second season really exemplifies the first season. Look at Konosuba, right? Second season makes the first season so much better, right? So yeah, there we go. So next, Thraxeth asks, would an anime adaptation of Inspector Gadget just be Astro Boy?
Yes.
I couldn't
No.
say.
No.
Because Astro Boy is not an adult man. And therefore, his mess-ups are charming and enjoyable, whereas Inspector Gadget is just a doofus.
I gotcha.
A charming doofus, but he's a doofus, and his mess-ups have actual consequences.
Right. And then last, Thayfod Bimblebrox. After an interesting conversation on Xeno's Discord, the topic of Inspector Gadget has been on my mind. What gadget that Inspector Gadget has shown would the cast most like to have? I have no idea what the fuck.
I want the grabby hand that comes out of his head, because then I could just have 3 hands.
Okay.
Well, maybe multiple, because he has like multiple that come out of it. So all of the grabby hands.
Yes, there's multiple things. My choice is one of the grabby hands. He has the gadget hat tipper, which is where his hat tips, and a hand comes out with another hat that tips, and the hand comes out of that hat with another hat that tips.
What? I don't remember that.
He tips the hat 3 times. It's there. I can find you the
No, I
image
believe
as well.
you. I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah.
I can't answer this question.
Would you go for the
Gadget.
Go-Go Gadget helicopter?
No, Go-Go Gadget
The
body
Go-Go
pillow.
Gadget spring legs? Ooh, Go-Go Gadget body pillow. Absolutely.
So moving on to the comments. So first from Kanpai News, Strombus Shell says, haha, that intro after watching the show, that thumbnail made more sense and was funny, in reference to crossover Megazord that Xeno hated. Yeah, but that intro was fun. Anyway, Zrugal says, lol, that intro. In reference to the Duolingo and Crunchyroll story, I got an ad for that on Duolingo a few days ago, actually, though I didn't know Crunchyroll curated a list of shows good for beginners. That's kind of awesome. In reference to the crossover Megazord that Xeno hated, that toy looks like a 7-year-old broke his toys and glued them back together. That is so goddamn true. Right.
Yeah.
Especially the bike on its head.
Oh god, yeah. Right, so moving on to the comments from last week's cast. Edward Paddock's suggestion, could you do an episode on anime providers, best selections, best price/value, best archives, best for sub versus dubs, etc.
I really like that
in
idea.
relation to, yeah, I like that idea as well. In relation to the superpowers supporter question, guys, obviously the best power to pick is invisibility.
That's true.
I don't even fucking remember what we picked. Anyway.
Well, I picked flight. I almost always pick flight.
Oh, I picked
Cool.
the other dimension that I can teleport to that has no time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so as Rugal says, you super weebs amaze me when you can remember what studio produces what anime. In reference to the Studio Trigger episode of Steven Universe, I actually have Here Comes a Thought downloaded. I really loved Steven Universe. I never got to finish it though. I too never got to finish it because they just fucked with the schedule. I think it was like you had the second to last episode and then it was like 6 months to a year before the next episode. It was ridiculous. You know, they really... Anyway, and then those memes are...
I just want to add, Struggle, we're not super weebs that remember these all off the top of our heads. We actually do preparation for these shows.
No, we don't.
We don't.
Just a little bit.
No, we don't.
A little bit.
No, what we have is Xeno built a thing.
Quasi Diet Coke of professionals.
Xeno built Diet Coke? Pepsi Max.
Yes.
So
Coke Zero.
Moving on.
It's a
so
quote,
Strombus
Xeno.
Shell
Have you not
says,
seen that movie?
No. So Strombus Shell says, I would like to see Nasuth spin his head around.
I don't have a hotkey hooked up for it. No.
In relation to, I can't remember what we said, Motoko versus Nappa. Motoko?
Motoko Kusanagi, I think.
Did we say Motoko versus... Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a mispronunciation.
Nappa would win. Not that I don't love Motoko. What the hell were we... What was our topic last week?
It was the
studio stuff, wasn't it?
Studio battles. So there might have been a mispronunciation where you said Nappa instead of Mappa.
Or that would be Madhouse versus...
Okay. Alright, you ready? You ready?
No.
Ready?
No.
This is for you, Strong Michelle. Oh, it doesn't work! No! Oh, I think it's because it only works in Vignon and not in VC Face.
Anyway, in
week,
relation to the crossover Megazord that Xeno hated, ha ha ha, the animation of that monstrosity from the news blew me away. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to the memes. So don't forget, you can find these memes in the description below, but we curate these memes from the internet, from Reddit, on various different subreddits, and also you can find memes on twitter.com/Kanpai_cast or on the Discord. So you just got to find the link in for the description. You can find a link for the fuck. I keep saying you can find the link for the description in the Discord.
In
the Discord.
The Discord below.
I know, right. So, yes. Let's move on to the meme.
All right. Bunny Drop, Attack on Titan, Hell's Paradise, and My Dress Up Darling. Usagi Drop, Shingeki no Kyojin, Jiko Kuraku, and Sono Biscuitol. Civil War.
Oh, wait, hold on. What's Usagi Drop? What's Bunny Drop?
I've heard of Usagi Drop.
It's an anime, Xeno.
I've never watched it, but I've heard of it.
Right.
No.
Grammar Nazi. Why are they using the words wrong? Why is nobody correcting them? Linguist, you get used to it.
I learned this from being an editor. You just get used to it.
Yeah, language is an ever-evolving beast, and blah 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 blah.
Goblin mode.
That's the joke. The joke is that it's Onegai.
No, wait! Stop! Why?
The joke is that it's Onegai muscle. It's I don't want to get copyright, but that song is amazing. Right, Netflix, we have stopped password sharing, and now you must pay extra. Me.
Oh my god.
Lads.
That time I died and was reincarnated as then hit the center predictive text button until you have a title. And this is where anime titles will come from during the writer's strike. Yep.
Oh, brilliant.
And finally, I'm an idiot harem main character. But Sir Newton, we can't write that. Then write these. The greater the density, the greater the force of attraction.
Oh my god.
Science, yo.
And now into Thayliens.
What makes you think you would defeat me? You're not even on the promotional poster for the show.
Yep. Oh, I've seen that one. Yep, brilliant.
Yep.
How's a real artist like me supposed to succeed? All cartoons look the same these days. Goku fan art. Wait, pause before the next one. Pause before the next one. It should be my video.
Yeah.
This was born out of conversations we had about an upcoming Kanpai Cast episode. I saw this and it's VTubers.
Wait, is this your third or fourth?
Third.
Because your third is not a video.
It is on my end.
Oh, is the third not a video? The fourth?
It is on my
Oh,
end.
sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah. So this is going to be us in a short while.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Hey! Put those eyes away! Thank you. It's a wholesome stream here. Hey! It's a wholesome stream here. Wholesome. Nice and fun.
Lots of holes.
Nice. Keys! Everyone focus on the keys.
Nice cock.
No, keys, not cock, keys. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's gonna get us so copyright.
Are we gonna tell people what we're planning?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not.
No, just keep an eye
But
out.
that is very relevant.
It's way funnier this
That
way.
is relevant.
Yeah.
That is relevant.
Oh.
Number 4.
We both have half of Mum's essence, right? Hear me out. If we combine our DNA, there's a chance that she'd reincarnate enough. No more dojins for you.
Yep. Oh my god.
Oh, God, this one.
Can't read that.
Just need to quickly go find my memes.
So tiny.
Just have to find it so I can read it.
You'll never find it. Enhance.
Zoom, enhance.
What is
FYI,
that?
we can't.
Thaylien.
Thaylien 5.
There it is.
Found it. So, Jason Bob asks, wait, if you have all these mad abilities like dream eating and making small black holes out of nowhere, while your master can, have thumbs, why aren't you the master? That's... Bring it on! It's Pokemon sometimes, man.
Yep.
Right.
Can you speak Bocce?
Of course I can, sir. It's like a second language to me. I'm a
Yeah, all right,
student.
shut up. I'll take this.
Shutting up, sir.
His High Exaltedness has decreed that you are to be terminated immediately. You will therefore be taken to the Dune Sea and cast into the Porthouse itself.
Doesn't sound so bad.
In his belly, you will find a new definition of pain and suffering as you are slowly digested over 1,000 years.
That's fucking brilliant. That is so fucking brilliant. Holy shit. Yep. But I don't know why that, I've not seen that on the Bocce
Oh my god.
The Rock subreddit. I have not seen it. Oh, that's amazing. I should be there.
I love it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, right.
Oh.
So, my first one. Girls, when they score 90 out of 100, they're all upset and sad and everything. Boys, when they get a passing mark, and they're all happy and
Yeah, boy.
yeah, we made it. Anyway. Second meme. When the alcohol hits and you're not shy anymore, just take it all off and get naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. The world using metric, the US.
Oh my god. That's
Okay,
even the
right.
not safe for work
Is it-
one.
Is it problematic that I recognize some of those?
I don't know how, but moving on. Number 4. When I try to ask out a girl.
Okay.
Kicked in the stomach.
Okay.
Right, now, before, right? This is a little not safe for work, right? So, moving on to number 5.
A little on the spicy side, a little on the
Right.
Ooh, oh my.
My dress up darling fans crying about Marion's flat booty. Meanwhile, Kill la Kill fans,
Ooh.
and then
I love the one on the lower left.
Especially that one.
Yeah.
Here.
right,
Witness.
and then
Witness the ass.
last but not least,
Oh no! Oh, it's so wrong.
That's cruel.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! Oh,
That's really good.
Yeah.
I still think my my speaking bocce works.
oh god, no, yours is fucking brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think you
no,
win,
yours is
Thaylien.
like fuck. Yeah, no, that wins Thaylien.
Oh.
Right. So right now we don't have a topic planned for next week. We're planning on actually sitting down after this and coming up with a load of what are we going to talk
Actually,
about.
yeah, let's plan a few months in advance if we can.
Yeah, you know, we're off the cuff too much as of recent. But that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching / listening. And now it is time to bottoms up and Kanpai!
Goodbye.
I'm genuinely out again.
Every time.